Greetings everyone and welcome to another season preview. Justin Burtis here, joined by head coach Lauren Mascaro of women's soccer because their season is right around the corner. They have their lone scrimmage in the book and the season will start on Saturday. Coach, thanks so much for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Had a great recovery session this morning. Had a local PT in the area, former Vanguard men's soccer player, come show us the ropes and how to recover best. So I'm excited to partner with a number of people around Costa Mesa and our community to optimize our players' experience and their performance as well.
Beautiful. Well, we'll get into the scrimmage and what's ahead, but let's go back first. How was your summer and how was recruiting for this upcoming class?
Sure. We end our recruiting cycle every December. So this group that's currently here now, they've been already together talking in group chats and Zooms for going on 8 months now. So they've got pretty connected friendships and they've been in accountability groups with some of our upperclassmen all throughout the summer. So prior to even stepping foot on campus, they were pretty well established, and so that's one of the great things about the way we do our recruiting, and something that I've really come to enjoy is the level that we get to know these players before they get here. And so really getting to do that over the summer, and then last year I was on maternity leave pretty much all summer, so getting to actually sit down and plan things out in depth and be really super prepared coming into August was a nice change of pace as well. And then the highlight of the summer then was filling that void that Nikki Nelson left when she moved in April, and hiring Cam Riley as our new assistant coach would probably be the highlight for our program over the summer.
For sure. Did you enjoy your first full summer with the new little one?
Yeah, of course. Not just the little one, but the dynamics between two little ones is really enjoyable and challenging, a whole different ballgame. So,
well, hopefully that was as much fun as it was the first go around. But moving now into practice, you've gotten a couple weeks to get the team on the field, get them practicing, see where they're at. How have things kind of been coming together so far?
Sure. The team really worked super hard over the summer. All that camaraderie and the time invested off the field, you can tell in terms of the chemistry and just how we work together, how we receive feedback from one another. Really is just everything's going really smooth. The energy is really positive. I'm really focusing on building up. And going day from day and building on to the previous day. So the environment at training is just really super competitive. Everybody is on each other, but in the best of ways. And just really everyone's happy to be here and competing and, starting to put the pieces together. So it's looking great.
I know last weekend you got to go do a little retreat as a team. How was that? Where'd you go?
We were fortunate enough to have a donor step in and save us from the heat of tent camping. And we stayed in downtown Palm Springs with air conditioning, and it was a fantastic time. We really got to just focus on recovery in terms of the physical and their bodies, and just resting, stretching, kind of going on walks and things like that. But the primary focus of the retreat was really all the off-the-field bonding, the spiritual development, spending a lot of time in the Word, a lot of time in small groups, and then individual time with the Lord, and then also just sharing our stories, getting to know each other as players and grow that love for each other. So we really do see each other as family, and that really helps, especially in the women's game, to have those kinds of connections with your teammates. It really translates well. So it was a phenomenal weekend, and I think our bodies needed it after the first 4 days of training camp. So
for sure. I know one of the girls that is on your team that is also one of our student workers said last year it was one of the closest teams they felt. So hopefully that trend continues for your group this year. Mm-hmm. Going forward into a little more of the nitty-gritty soccer stuff here, obviously 7 seniors graduated from the team, and you brought 7 players in as well. Mm-hmm. Does that math check out?
Yep.
Excellent. I was writing about that yesterday, so I was making sure. But how has everyone been integrating? And then let's kind of walk it through and see where the Lions will be lining up on the field this year.
Sure. So like I said, everyone's already been kind of mixed, and everyone knows each other, and they were all set in their roommate pairings and everything prior to even coming to camp. But now looking at some of our new players, can they maybe slide into a new spot in our system relative to the system they're coming from? So there's still a few positions and players we can slot in a few places, and we do have a couple of players that played significant minutes for us last year who are coming back, making their way back from injury. So just looking at what do some of those rotations look like right now. But I think if you look from the front to the back, our talent is solid, and even in our scrimmage yesterday, I think our depth will be one of our strengths going through the year. Whether our very, very best player was on, or someone who at the end of the year maybe doesn't have as many minutes in their log, the level of play didn't drop regardless. So I was really happy with that part of the scrimmage yesterday, and it makes my job and Cam's job a little bit harder when the lines are a little bit more blurred like that, but it's a good problem to have. I think our goalkeepers, they're all different, and they all have different strengths and weaknesses, but then...
And all new starters. Right?
Oh, in goal? Yeah. So we've got all different strengths in the three that we have, and so you see in training, like one person will excel in a drill and it causes the other two to step up, and they all kind of switch whose turn it is to excel in a drill, and so you're really seeing a lot of growth in all three, and them pushing each other to see who's gonna get the time. Then our back line, we've got a lot of experience back there, a lot of leadership. Two of our captains are in our back line, so you'd love to see that, because the back line sees most of the field, right, and they're getting that communication up the field. So to have two of our captains in that back line will be crucial for us, and just like a nice, calm, composed, situation, and them staying connected will help us to really be solid back there and keep our goals against down low, and shooting for lots of shutouts this year, of course. Then you look forward up to our midfield line. A lot of tough decisions to be made there, and any given day.
You've got a lot of midfielders on the roster.
Any given day, it could be any three in those spots, and so it's exciting because they all know that, and in training you can see they all know that they can't take a day off, they can't take a play off, and they've got to just continuously push. And so it's really neat to watch, and just their chemistry, their rotations. It's all looking good as we start to really focus in on the lines and their movement, and how we move through that. Our front line, I think we've got some fresh faces there. We graduated, a few of our graduates last year had a lot of minutes in that front line, so I think we'll have a different look up top and some new faces, and hopefully that'll be part of our surprise when familiar teams face us. And so I'm really excited about that.
Well, speaking of teams you're going to face, obviously kind of not quite a double header, but you got two teams out here. You got OUAZ coming to play with SoCA, as well as Trinity International, which is the main draw, and that will be Trinity Christian. Dang it, so close. It was Trinity International last year. Yeah. All the Trinities. My apologies. Anyway, so that's how the season's going to get started. You guys playing SoCA, then Trinity on Monday. Take us through the schedule. I know you've also got a trip up to Oregon as well, and kind of some of the non-conference, then we'll slide into the GSAC play after that.
Of course, yeah. So, with location, obviously we've got quite a few CalPAC teams on the roster, on the schedule. That's always fun, some familiarity there, a good way to measure where we're at, and for the Raiders and everything, it's good to just see the competition within the region. And then, it's kind of similar to a lot of GSAC schools. A lot of us are playing similar people in our preseason, so you can kind of gauge where you're at and see, how things might possibly shake out. So that's really neat. Excited to start out with SoCA. It's been a few years since we played them, and so it's cool to get back to, a competition against a nearby school. And then, we do get that trip up north. We'll go up to play Northwest in Washington, a little road trip down to Oregon. And, the trips are always fun. It's a great experience for the student athletes. It's a high level play. Again, they're part of our ARC, our region, so it'll be neat to play some of those Cascade schools. And I know Arizona Christian's up there right now, San Diego Christian's going up there, so there'll be a lot of crossover in terms of that Pac Northwest grouping of schools, and just a lot of home games on the schedule, which is not something I think many Vanguard teams are going to get to say here in the next few years. So it'll be neat to be home, to kind of embrace the challenges of the construction, but still get that home experience, bring out the fans, do some unique things with the community, and getting kids out to games and stuff, and just rally that support around our team, and really show off when we're at home.
Yeah. In case you don't know, the Freed Center is going to be going up here soon. Construction will begin. They are finishing the demolition part of the old pit. May it rest in peace. So be aware there will be some signage to get you to the soccer field working around those construction signs. Now to the GSAC conference itself, obviously Westmont is kind of the top dog as picked by the Raiders. They're number 8 in the NAIA going into the preseason, and they are picked to win the conference. But how else is everything that you've seen or heard kind of shaking up behind them, or maybe even getting up to them if they're maybe a little off their guard?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot because, you know, with Westmont's last year in the NAIA, I think a lot of teams want their last stab at them, so they'll give it everything they got. And, you know, we definitely want to revive that and have that rivalry, those really close games. I mean, you know, we've had some success against them in the past. They've been a big challenge for us in the past as well, and that's always just a super fun game. And even just right now, the rivalry between Vanguard and Westmont is a campus-wide thing, so it's just a fun energy to have. You know, we'll get them towards the end of the season, and we've got Masters, another great rivalry at the end, right around Senior Day, and then we've got a lot of events at our home games as well. So, you know, everyone's tough. There's no easy games. You know, someone's got to end up at the bottom, someone's got to end up at the top, but there's no easy game, and you don't get to take a day off ever. You can't just say, starters, you get to rest, everyone else, you're going to play 90. You just can't do that in the GSAC, and so we're excited, recruit with a lot of those guys, spend a lot of time on the sidelines, you know, kind of hashing things out and joking around and some trash talking. So it's always fun then when you get to the games and you get to play it out and put your players out there and see what happens. So, you know, I think everyone's tough. Everyone's got a little bit of a different strategy on how they get their best players and how to get them on the field and how they're putting them together. And so it's just a really fun time. It's a really fun community in the GSAC amongst all the coaches, and makes it fun to coach and a great challenge as well. And you know, all of our student athletes, they start to learn as they go through and play the same players year to year. They almost can give the scouting report. You know, you give the seniors the scouting report, and they can tell the whole team who to watch, who does this, who's a lefty, who's a righty, who's going to take the set piece, and so they get really into it too. And this year we've got Trace. We're using the Trace Cam. We get a lot of data, a lot of feedback on all of our films, so we're excited to see how we implement that and make our game even better.
Analytics is on the move. Final thoughts then, as we head into the start of the season, which is we're filming as of now, just about under 48 hours or so. Excitement's real, the season's here. What do you got to say?
I'm just very excited. This season is just such a different energy than, you know, we've had in the past, and this is a team that's essentially brand new. We've got a lot of returners, but the team itself and what we're doing and the players and how they relate to each other, it feels very different than anything that we've had in a long time. So just excited to see how that transpires over onto the field and what that means in terms of our results, and just can't wait to see how they work for each other and how the season goes.
Well, perfect. We'll be there Saturday. We'll be there Monday, 11 a.m. on Saturday at the VU Soccer Field, as well as on Monday. Soka on Saturday, Trinity Christian on Monday. Coach, we're excited to have you and your season get underway. Check out VanguardLions.com for any more information, and we'll see you out there at the soccer field.